Let us start with the overall view of what we are going to see in the whole presentation. These, so first, the overall content that we will see is the research methodology and the primary research and the raw data materials collected, the different type of mapping, including employee mapping, stakeholder mapping, spatial analysis, product analysis, and many more. So let's start with the beginning. Yeah. The first approach, the method of research was to unable to go some cloud, internet, text, phone call, and sometimes unable to go to lockdown since there might be restrictions. Asking friend to visit and phone calls, most probably direct contact to the owner that would bring the primary research. This is the raw data collected. Actually, we were given brief to collect raw data. So I actually started collecting raw data, but also managing it on the same way. So when we later on we needed to present it on a PPT, I did not know we will get to see over there, but I was already doing so. It was a bit easier for me. But there were notes and hand notes that were also that are in the primary raw data. So the business that was selected was Janta People product. The initial details like email address, uh, what all I could get from their websites, like their wholesaler, retailer, their most current logo, what they do use. Um, According to the map, I got this location. The main town of district is Lakhisra, and the town is Lakhisra as well. It has the basic detail what I could get from internet about the area, literacy data. But the census were at 2011. There were no data at the current time. Uh, so this is the area of Lakhisra. On this road, this business was located at Janta Product Lakhisra. Satellite view, but it was not clear. Well, I Google on internet as well why our GPS is not as clear as America. There are some reasons. Government policies. Okay, so this is the panoramic view of the surrounding of the shop. All the blue dots are shops, as you can see. So I think I should get into a bit more overview. Otherwise, it will take so much time to go in each of details and what is written over there. You guys can see. So like overall this is the shop so the photo is taken at 8 a.m. electricity here, shops are closed. uh, this is the actually not just the night view but also the opposite side of the shop. So I took the photo in the night, but it looks like it is on the same, it is on the opposite side what we see. There's a huge difference was there were only shops there and all few patterns, we'll talk about them later. Raw data collection, front view of the shop, inside view, heights and detail. This is not the color palette. This is the visual colors that is visible that was just pick up. So I won't consider that. This is the sound. What the people experience here. I'm gonna play it. I hope the screen record my it must be coming. This is the another sound. So it is about the business owner and family. So the business owner is Sumisa Seth. Her family has is two sons. She's a businesswoman, graduate 51. A basic detail what I could get from the owner and talking from their staff. Uh, This is the product analysis. I talked about the presentation. He said notebooks also come under stationery, but while talking to the business owner and staff, they were like not known to it or They were not considering. They were saying straightly like this is our notebook series and this is the stationery. So in the stationery, apart from the notebooks, everything they were calculating in the stationery department, whether it is a machine or everything. These are the few photographs. There were like so many photographs, but I could not put everyone here currently. Okay. This is the basic detail that I got from where do they sell, from talking to their staffs. I initiated conversation, भैया आप कहाँ सामान बेचते हो? कि मेरा एक दो दोस्त पूछ रहा था कि आप वहाँ पे भी आपका कोई दुकान है क्या, है फिर आपका कॉपी वहाँ पे कैसे मिल सकता है? तो दे स्टार्टेड सेइंग कि हाँ हमारा माल यहाँ पे जाता है एंड दे वो वहाँ से सामान ले सकता है. So the customer types is like wholesaler, retailer. These were directly said by the staff and the owner of the shop. A basic layout that I built very long before from the initial. I could not get the detail, and they said they can't talk about. They are not comfortable of talking about the legislation part of the business, like the ban and all. So I actually got to know that this was not the way to um write things down because the I made it more presentable according to the business since I was in class 11 June was commerce, so I use the terminology. So they know the what they are doing, like the donation and everything. So when I was sitting in the shop and a guy with a small boy with some thali and chica and all rituals came and they gave some money and he cut down some slip sort of thing. So I started conversation through that and reached them, got to know about the donations and uh, what they did. So I put it in under the category of CSR activities, but they did not know particularly what. Okay, these what they are doing is called CSR, and the lockdown part, and what are the uh, how what were the basic initial effect or like the overall effects on their business, like the normal talk with the owner. हाँ आप लोग कैसा चल रहा था, दुकान तो बंद था, like स्कूल कॉलेज बंद हैं, normal information that I could get. This is the manufacturing. This was a direct conversation with the owner and also with the employee. That's so. This was a doubt. I was also in doubt. I researched over internet over what is the difference between employees, staff, and worker. Uh, so according to that, they are getting paid. They are not getting paid as a group. They are employed. They are not a staff. They are not from a particular company and working there, but they still call them. The owner call other persons as staff. So I am considering that directly as a staff. I'm not going to change the data. And this is the distribution map about how the distribution of stationery goods happens since the manufacturing part is done by themselves about their product. This is the overall review that I could get over internet about the Jadavpur product. The first review was by him itself. This was the SWOT analysis. I think I did it quite early. I should have not done that later on. It could be much more soon according to the observations I found there, but it's like wrong. I did not delete it since I did the work. Okay, it might be wrong, but okay. Oh, nothing. Now we have reached to the mapping part. So the beginning part was the selection of the swap. The selection of the swap started with the mapping process where we mapped 1 kilometer of business around us. So at that time I was in Noida, so I mapped Noida and then parameters were on the basis we are going to select shop was accessibility, location, stakeholder, essentials. So the shop that I selected at that time was Chaudhary Restaurant. Later on, I had to come to my hometown due to lockdown, and it was not that much easy since the shop I selected was I could get more of the data because I was going to their shop regularly, but they were not available for online details and like the calling to the owner and also I started the same process at the this place where I am currently, Lakisrai, and then the shops that I got in this area was Chandapur product. This is again detail about what were there on the raw data, Chandapur product, what did they do, and business. This is a mapping of how business is known in the locality. So the business area is this. People call this shop with different names. So this is the logo where this is the mapping of the area, and this is this symbol denotes the people. I asked random people like मेरे आसपास कोई कॉपी की दुकान है क्या, and they said yeah, like random names that I got to know about this shop was जनता पेपर प्रोडक्ट, रंजीत भैया की दुकान, जनता पेपर, जनता प्रेस, Ajanta Press. So that shop was name was different, but they called this shop Ajanta Press. हाँ ये बस आगे. So this is the area where the shop is, and this is the road, and like this one, and these were the names that were called by the shop. So the most known name was Janta Paper Ranjit Ji ki dukaan. Okay, so this is the owner language mapping. This is so owner talks with employer, customer, relative, bank, and different people in two languages basically. So the customer shop with on shop she talks with in Mathili and Hindi. On call she talks in Hindi with the staff. She talks in Hindi, relative in the bank people when she go to bank in Hindi, accountant, CA, tax, tax people, like legal people, Jhela wala she talks in Mathili, company employee, staff in Hindi, creditors in the transport. So these were the people I observed what she talks with this. This is the employee mapping of the shop. So the number of employee was 11 plus 1. So the name of the employee is this. So the I direction is this. Okay, so this is from left to right. This is individual name of the employee, and this is the detail, like the Pavan, what works there, age, mode of transportation, how do they come, address, experience, working on, salary, and detail. This is seller to transportation, seller to customer transportation map from how the from the seller shop it began to the final customer. This is going explaining through a one example, and this is the overall process. So from a one of the example, it's like the beginning loading from the shop, delivering to transport through Thela, then unloading at transport at Lakisrai, then delivering to transport to another location. Then on the background, what we see is Lakisrai, and this is another area is map. Blue one is Sekura. So this is like now transport at Sekura, unloading, then again loading, then again delivering to customer through Thela to like final customer reach the Pustak Mahal. Is the customer shop, and the owner and deals with the shop with the name of the shop. They don't have name of the shopkeeper. This is the areas where they sell. Which transport do they use? Like they have a particular transportation company's name, which they use for particular area. The process from the side of seller, what they do before transporting, like billing, packaging, then challan, unloading and loading, then transport. The Thela wala, this is on the observation of a week. On Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, after 4 days of observation, sorry, not a week, of 4 days of observation, 4 times this Santosh Chelawala came, then one time Subodh, and these shoes did not came, Bablu and Arvind. Friday, Saturday, Monday, what he did after coming to like Santosh, they remembered this Lakisrai and so on. This is what I review I got from the internet, and this is the survey I did with some people around the shop, like the customer which were coming to the shop. So the medium of approach was something like this. भैया कॉलेज से कुछ असाइनमेंट है, मुझे आपसे कुछ सवाल पूछना था. शॉप के बारे में एंड द कस्टमर हाँ बोलो बट सो आई हैव written out it down in the maximum what I remember after the conversation. I noted down in the pencil in the page and written it down as much as what were the direct conversation happening between me and customer. हाँ बोलो पढ़ते हो and etc conversation what he asked about and then हाँ आप कहाँ जा रहे हो and he said पुरानी बाजार is the another location. आप कहाँ से आ रहे हो? I asked him where he's coming from. He said पुरानी बाजार. Yeah, उधर से I asked him why are you coming from there when there are other shops available at that location as well. And the customer said they the ये wholesale price rate देते हैं. So like the general product give at wholesale price. And the another customers what the review और ग्राहक इनका जनता में मांगते हैं इनके पास agencies है. So these were the most prominent ones. Few words repeated, so I did not mention the repetition one. This is a conversation that I observed between the owner and customer. They were customer asked कितना हुआ customer asked for money how much it cost and the owner कितना पेटी है and the customer एक पेटी बाकी ले जाएंगे अभी तो दुकान खुलना शुरू हुआ है. The owner said रुपीज 670. कस्टमर से मैडम कुछ रेट ज़्यादा लगा रहे हैं पिछली बार. So he said पिछलू बार but he meant पिछली बार. So they have this different mathly language. Sometimes the customer say the owner said directly कभी नहीं लिए होंगे 2 महीने से यही रेट है. So about the inferences we will talk about it later. So these are the survey mapping conversation. So spatial difference. This is a mapping of the spatial difference from the from in front of the shop between the selected shop and the competitor. These were the shops that were stationary shops that were there. Chandrapura, Rajesh Pusak Bandar, Muskan Kalambur, etc. These are made according to the photographs that I took of the shop, like the Bharat book, Chandrapura product. So the color in this denotes rent, and this one is owned by the owner. So these are the 6 shops I observed, and like 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 6, just Chandrapura and Popular Bookstore, they were their shops were not on rent. And basic detail what who is the owner, what is the deal. So yeah, this is more in detail about the customer analysis map. I hope I'm not leaving anything behind. This is very detailed mapping of the manufacturing process. I try to cover up almost everything like the purchase of material. So what happens is owner talk to 2 of the staff. These are the 2 of the conversation that I recorded about like she talks to 2 people, Pavan and Bambam. The owner देखो ये कागज कैसा है, हाँ बढ़िया है, किसके किसी के लिए जनता में थोड़ा सफेद करवा. So they were having their conversation with the staff owner. Then then what she did, she called different supplier of paper, calling different 3-4 supplier to confirm the rates, and finally order was given to Sati Papers. On the order, these were the conversation happened between the owner and the supplier, Sri Ram Transport. The owner said, after once order is confirmed the conversation, Sri Ram Transport में गिरवा दीजिएगा. हाँ ठीक है मैडम, थोड़ा पिछला बिल पेमेंट करवा देते हैं, 1 महीने का हो गया. हाँ कल पेमेंट लगवाते हैं, इसको थोड़ा जल्दी में करवाइए. हाँ परसों पहुंच जाएगा. ठीक. Send the item received in transportation, then the Sri Ram Transport, like we said, through which they came, unloading and then delivering to the shop, unloading the delivery till Karkhana. So the raw material was delivered not to the shop but to the Karkhana. Same process goes with other material as well. It was given the example of the paper. Allocation of the raw material to their spaces. They have a fixed space for each of the raw materials like hardboard, cover, paper, glue. Then the Pawan takes a staff of the shop take the sample and goes to the office to show it to the owner verify verify with the order given to supplier, the paper quality, and like what they order and what they get is the same. If something is different than order, owner calls to the supplier, then the selection happen. So these are the points that she said. I wrote it down in more on a terminological way, like the demand, cost, competition, inflation, diversification. How so on these basis the selection they do, then the Pawan take back to the Karkhana. And this is the same person who brought this to the shop, and then the process of cutting, how cutting happens, stitching happen, in detail, who does it, the pasting, how the pasting of hardboard and softwood top as a cover, what are the binding material, glue, what do they use, the drying, how the drying process happens, and then how it is again sent back to the godown, display in the shop, and then finally sold to customer. When stock end, the staff inform the owner and give the list of out of stock good, and then again the same process happens. It's like a loop which is keep going on. This is the purchase from agency, but do they purchase from the agency? So like the depot is the uh, areas where the company keep their goods. It is either CNF. CNF is the person. Okay, instead of the persons selected by the company for a whole area, for like a whole state. So these were the companies companies goods, their shop daily and the order received, then back to office for due. So this is the in detail mapping of from the perspective of also the selected shop and also from what happens in the company side. So this is a detail got I got to know from the company employee who came to the shop for marketing and all. So I asked him and he gave in me detail about like the once order is received, office check any if there is any back due, then he passed on to the order to depot for delivery. Then the delivery happens to this is the overall detail, transport to customer, then purchase happens, then verify delivery with order. Again, the same process happen as whatever the verify delivery as per the order, and then repurchase and all. This one I'm talking in detail. I'm thinking to make one more video in that overview as it is taking too much long time. So I will share both of the link. So this is the shop I observed from this area. What do they have? So this is the office as well, and this is the display area as well, where they have the samples of everything, almost all the goods. What do they have? So again, I have categorized into notebook and stationery as they keep it different. So all the stationery that do they have, this is a broader category like pen, and I try to almost exactly what company, which brand for what product they use. So in the in the pen section, they have all these pens. In geometry box, they had these according to the what they had available currently at that time in the shop. In the scale, they have these. In the color, they have these sort of colors. Here's sketch pen, poster, pencils, different pencils, eraser, sharpener, glue, different type of glue. What do they have? What type of diaries do they? Calculators. They had a single calculator only. What do they sell? Then they had their single conference pad, copier paper. They had this stuff. And then chalk, slate pencil, slate, duster, stapler. Which company? The photographs also tell the company. I have not mentioned it here. Clear bag, what are the files, do they sell, cutting, reader and all. So and these are the notebooks. So the notebook series, what do they produce were here. So these are the notebooks that was produced by themselves, manufactured by them. So after observing all the notebooks, there were three different logos found in their manufacturing goods. So these were the data that were collected from talking to the staff and the owner. Like what discount do they give? What is their customized product? if they have any they do any customization in the product. So they have this conference pad, ID card, bill book, and cash memo. They do customize like the before lockdown. What were the most sold products and the least sold products? So they had many least sold products, but the topmost was this punch machine, a stapler machine. Like the perishable goods which they have within 6 months, so printer inks and all. We are going to start with the spatial analysis. So the space is outside, inside, experience, people, and the other sorts. So from outside, this is the uh, area panoramic view, and so what you observed here is blue shows owner, houses, and shop. So all these shops were owned by themselves, no one on rent. On the second side, these are all shops what we see on the opposite side, so this will come under a pattern I will talk about later. Like most of the shops were on rent. On the other where on the other side of the lane where there is Jadapur product, most of the shops were owned by themselves. So there is a like very big difference what I observed over there, and the height of the area. Again, the same things like how the shop and all, uh, height inside of the shops, then these inside views, what all do they have in the shop, stationery and furniture. In the furniture, do they have wooden chair, plastic chair, counters, like wooden chair, their material detail. Inside of the shop, basic floor plan. Um, on the experience, on the basis of this, so there were uh, so there were one more actually. Sorry. So inside experience was in terms of smell there were paper, and outside was wood. The sound experience was I played it before as well. The air I could not capture my photographs with the phone, but the what I observed there were these particles that we can see in the light, and this is the shop, and these are the areas next to it. This is the floor plan of the whole area, the whole building where the shop is. These light brown are the shop, the dark brown are the downs, and the purple is bathroom. This is the 9 feet road, 4 5 4 5 feet pathway. Slide to go upside, stairs. This is the shop. This is the detailed hand-drawn layout of what from the elevation, not elevation, top view section. This is the furniture layout. I have put it human where the owners and the proportions, so we have an idea of a scale, electrical layout, texture layout is a like what are the textures of individuals. Some for few I tried to post like a calculator picture because since the but showing the texture was very different since it was not visible. I tried that as well. This is the photorealistic elevation view. So these are the texture of wall. Uh, when I was putting the texture directly from the cardboard, it was not visible. So I tried to take pictures of individual from the front view, so I don't get the perspective of it. But like few which were in the direction already have perspective. This was the chair. It had this sort of texture. I luckily I got almost the same share texture image on the internet. So I put it over here, but it looks a bit different. But this was the texture of the chairs, plastic chair there. This is the measurement layout of outside the slide, then inside what were the windows and door in the shop, spatial and furniture, or do they have the chair? So I calculated it with the the Fita one as well, and then I used a mobile app, and that was also correct. I cross verified it. Then the products is in detail. What do they have? The self distance between each of the self, notebooks, and what I found there. Then this was I was trying to render. I was trying to like this light mapping, electrical mapping. I was thinking to create something more of a 3D. I was trying this uh, model of the shop and the direct sunlight. I have not uploaded the video here, so like how when the light is moved, how the shadow happens in the shop. This is a more like exploration part of it, like that light. What if the whole shop is dark? There is no reflection, like the area is not reflecting anything. It's more like a fictional or surreal thing, realism sort of thing. When light is like totally, it's not reflecting what the shop will look like when door is open. And this is the door. So here I was simulation of the air. So this is the 3D model of the ground floor of the building. This is the shop, and I was trying to create the simulation from this, but due to some technical problems, I could not get those exact simulation sort of images of like those red green one. Why do we use simulations? I better did research over why do we need simulations before a design, like what is the basic research over there. But so what I did over there, what I went to the shop and observed for like 3-4 times during day. So the air passway that comes, the space has three airflow flow inside, from that direction, from this direction, this direction, and all of these air meet at a point. At this area, it feels like air is coming from all the direction. I hope I have talked about all the mapping, customer mapping, language mapping, manufacturing, employee, survey, select to customer, known by, yeah, most of the mapping is done. I'm at the the journey mapping place said for three map actually. So in my group, we all made the three mapping. This is the basic one. So the topic that I selected was journey of the customer experience in shop from entrance to exit. That like I am keeping all of the data and everything in uh, objective manner. I'm not saying this the customer is experiencing good, customer is experiencing bad. I'm just telling what were the on the basis of the senses. So this is the timeline activity, what is happening, the sound timeline, the time timeline, and the light inside, outside. Customer enter, age was this, cloth and medium of transportation by foot. Shopkeeper Ravi already was in the shop. कस्टमर को एक भैया पेंसिल दे दो, रवि कितना वाला, कस्टमर 5 वाला 2 पेज, रवि ये लो. And so I have the visual element that I took was this rope, as this rope they have been using since very beginning to tie all the goods for the packaging and everything. So I use this for like this is the interaction part, this is the ending part, and the customer pay money and exit. This is the second. I did into more detailing the activity that is happening, space and light around, sound, timeline, and air. It's a journey of customer experience. What he sees is surrounding two-story building, second floor not fully constructed, first floor constructed according to shop, ground floor with two shops, name written. All these green sticky notes are the influencers, which I will talk about later. Inside, call koi hai. Santosh employee came out and asked, "हाँ क्या चाहिए?" So he came out from this area. Customer give him list and Santosh and ask him madam nahi hai. So this is what's happening over there. When customers संतोष से हाँ अभी नहीं आया है बैचिए सामान निकालते हैं and goes inside. Customers sit on plastic chair and look around in the shop. Here संतोष comes out with a good given list and say ये सामान नहीं है एक दो दिन बाद मिल जाएगा. संतोष makes I think I should not write the whole statement, you guys can read. And so the visual element here I took was this truck. So what happened was the customer paid the money and said madam को बोल दीजिएगा take to the exit and put it on a vehicle. So the vehicle was a truck. So I took the visual element of truck and like from the entrance to end and finally it was on truck. It looks more like he's entering in the gate as well. And this is like what is usually written chalachal, right? Then this is the most detailed one. Then after that I made this one and I went into more into detail and these three were like three customers, different customers, and I observe what do they see, what do they hear, what do they speak, what is the interaction between the customer, seller and owner. So what he pre-entrance was this view. Then the panoramic view showed the shop on the left hand side. Building photo, platform, stairs, upper view of this building is this. This is the shop area, the entrance. What he see, this is the entrance like this and there, and then what he see is a curtain after entering here. Then on the right side you see the shop. So here the conversation started was the Santosh come, then Ravi come, these are the two staff, they come from here, then हाँ बोलिए क्या चाहिए सब, and they have a random conversation. What do they have, they were doing with the customer, like हाँ क्या हाल चाल है बढ़िया, and then Ravi keep talking and the Santosh goes inside. The customer say madam, so she is the owner of the shop. The customer says madam नहीं है, Ravi हाँ आ रहे होंगे, you can read over here. So a few things they were saying directly since they had this some of their understanding, like the person said 5 pencils and the owner says X1 दे दो. So they had already known, and like the owner said the employee said 200 piece चाहिए and the owner gave him 2 packets. So they had already this understanding. Then how Santosh asked for packet and like the in detail. You can pause this video if you want to read. I'm going next. So this is a stakeholder mapping on the basis of I made this primary, secondary, tertiary on the basis of like the primary are those without whom this business can't run at all. Secondary, tertiary are which are like the very short-term loan, not loan, like short-term people within 6 months or something, which is not important, especially like they have different options. On the secondary one are the one which is more than a 1 year in terms of the relationships and all, and they can't be alternate. Like on the tertiary part, the business can have alternative to these if they want to replace. On the secondary, they can't have the alternative. The primary stakeholder were media publications. At that area, there was Dainik Jagra and Bihar News. Owner, customer, employee, stationery agencies and raw material providers. So these were the raw materials providers who were in that business. List of stationery agencies, what they have. A list of customer I got to know this was like she given me some sort of ledger and I wrote it down from there. All the employees who are there. So the secondary is like the sons, son 2, since business can run without son and son 2 of a son. So I'm putting them in the second since they are also the owner of the business. Competition, politician, DM ward, national government, state government, DM ward, ward commissioner, government bodies, sales tax, income tax department, water department, sound department, a sound and a school and university that was at this place. Since they are dealing in the stationery and notebooks department, they comes in the secondary portions. The tertiary I found the repair and these were the repair person name. What do the owner call? Uh, then this is the detail, brief history what I got to know from the conversation with owner and the surrounding people nearby and the employee when the shop opened, pre-history of the shop from 1991. This was the conversation actually. The inferences that I took out from this, so I start from here. Conversation with the staff. So what it is like they said कल का ऑर्डर था ये ओनर से कल का ऑर्डर था ये अभी तक क्यों नहीं हुआ 2 दिन में पूरा हो जाए पूरा करवाओ और पुटू सर पंकज क्या कर रहा है so the owner gives the inference was owner gives time to complete order of good they give a definite deadline to work Pawan is accountable for completion of work since the conversation was happening between Pawan and owner. The owner was asking questions after reading these two conversations. These were the inferences. Uh, uh, yeah, inferences Pawan distribute work. Then the Pawan said, हाँ बनवा देते हैं. So it means he's going to give it distribute the work or give command. So the inferences that we took was Pawan is accountable for completion of work, and owner was also asking him only. Then definite deadline to time. Then here he said about the quality of the pages. So I took out inferences. They focus on quality of the product. Then the customer of the employee said uh, uh, उसका कॉपी देखे हैं नवीन का so नवीन is one some of their competitor in the district another district मुंगेर में आजकल उसका लड़का आ रहा है so one of the market man is coming in their मुंगेर where they sell goods so they have like competitor so it means the influence was they keep an eye on the shop other shop activity as well. Oh, this video is taking too much long time. Uh, uh, yeah, so these were the inferences. I'm coming directly to the inference part. So all the inferences that I got from there was they have monopoly. So the monopoly observation was happening from this marketing competitor analysis. Like these two shops, they were the only manufacturer and distributorship in the whole district. That's how I came to this conclusion. The products are cheaper. They have monopoly in online customers. They keep an eye on their stocks. So the conclusion that I took out from all these like they have monopoly in online customer. They keep an eye on us. So the conclusion that I took was that the product is a competitive shop. From these were the observations inferences took out from surveys and talking to customer and all. They are managing for manufacturing. They cater their customer. Whole surrounding area of shop is full of varieties of sound. The values that I finally took from there was price of their product, customer relationship, and quality products. So these were taken from the conversations happened between like the prices of the product. There many customers in the survey as well. Then the owner spoken it as well. So from all these, he said, then the customer relationships, I the value was like they ask for water, they tell them for sitting, and then from the observations part, and so this is the overall what I did from beginning to here. Of the detail, I will the detail of the second area where I mapped Lakshmi is on the Miro board. I will share the link as well here on the same board where we did the mapping. So this is what all has been done this year. Thank you. I will share a short video overview as it is going to be in editor checking I think more than 40 minutes. Okay, bye. Thank you.